Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of U.S. coinage with a focus on one of America's most iconic 5-cent pieces, the Monticello Jefferson nickel. We're talking about the top 5 most valuable Jefferson nickels in today's market, all with unique mint marks, amazing history, and astonishing dollar values that could surprise even seasoned numismatists. Before we jump in, if you enjoy content about rare coins, historic pieces, and investment-grade collectibles, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. So let's get started. First up, we're focusing on one of the most talked about modern Jefferson nickels, the United States Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1978, struck without a mint mark and found in circulated condition. While it may look ordinary at first glance, certain examples of this coin can surprise collectors with their value, especially as demand continues to grow in today's action market. The Jefferson nickel series has a long and respected history in American coinage. Introduced in 1938, it replaced the Buffalo nickel and honored Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. By the time 1978 arrived, the Monticello reverse design had already become a familiar symbol in American pockets for decades. The 1978 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not place a mint mark on coins during that era. These coins were produced during a time of economic change in the United States, making them an interesting snapshot of late 20th century American history. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1978 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel lies in its design and features. The obverse displays a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, showing refined details in the hair, cheek, and jawline when the coin is well struck. The word Liberty appears to the right, followed by the date 1978, while the motto "I in God We Trust" is neatly placed along the left side. On the reverse, the iconic Monticello building stands proudly in the center, with E Pluribus Unum above and 5 cents and United States of America below. In circulated condition, many of these details may be softened, but strong lettering, visible steps on Monticello, and balanced wear can make a coin far more desirable to collectors. When it comes to rarity, the 1978 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark was produced in large numbers, which means most examples are not rare by mintage alone. However, collector demand does not rely solely on how many coins were made. Condition, strike quality, and surface preservation play a massive role. Circulated examples with minimal wear, clean fields, strong Monticello steps, and no major damage can still attract attention. Coins showing unusual die characteristics, errors, or sharper than average details often stand out and command higher prices. As more collectors focus on completing date and mint sets, even common year nickels like this one are seeing renewed interest. In today's collector and auction market, the value of a 1978 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel in circulated condition can vary widely. Most average circulated examples trade close to face value, usually between 5 and 50 cents. However, better circulated pieces with strong eye appeal may sell for $345,000. Coins with exceptional detail, partial or full steps on Monticello, or minor errors can reach $456,000 or more. In rare cases, specially graded high-quality examples, even from circulation, have sold for significantly higher amounts, $1.2 million when demand is strong. While this is a get-rich-overnight coin, it remains a steady and interesting piece for collectors watching long-term trends. For collectors, there are several important tips to keep in mind when hunting for this nickel. Always examine the steps of Monticello closely, as stronger steps often mean higher value. Look for coins with even wear rather than heavy scratches or corrosion. Avoid cleaned coins, as cleaning drastically lowers collector value. If you believe you've found a particularly sharp or unusual example, consider having it professionally graded. Storing your nickels properly in holders or albums will also help preserve their condition and future value. The 1978 United States Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark may seem like just another circulated 5-cent coin, but it still holds an important place in American numismatics. Its historical background, classic design, and growing collector interest make it worth a closer look. While most examples remain affordable, select pieces continue to gain attention in today's action market. So the next time you're sorting through change or old coin rolls, take a moment to check your Jefferson nickels, because even a simple 5-cent coin can carry more value than you expect. Next up, we are diving deep into the United States Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel dated 1964 with the D mint mark, especially examples found in dirty or heavily circulated condition. While this coin may look ordinary at first glance, certain pieces from this year and mint have become surprisingly valuable in today's collector market. Stay with us until the end, because the difference between a common nickel and a valuable one can be just a tiny detail. The Jefferson nickel series has a rich history that dates back to 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin was created to honor Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the third president of the United States. The reverse design features Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home, which gave the coin its popular nickname, the Monticello nickel. The year 1964 holds special importance in U.S. coin history because it was the last year before major coin shortages led to changes in minting practices. In 1964 alone, the U.S. Mint produced an enormous number of nickels, including those struck at the Denver Mint with the D Mint mark. The unique features of the 1964 D Jefferson nickel are subtle but important. On the obverse, you'll see Jefferson's left-facing portrait, along with the word, Liberty, and the date 1964. The reverse shows the detailed image of Monticello, with inscriptions including E pluribus unum Monticello and 5 cents. The D Mint mark, located to the right of Monticello, tells us the coin was struck in Denver. Even in dirty or darkened condition, collectors closely examine the sharpness of Jefferson's hair, the steps on Monticello, and any unusual marks or errors that could dramatically increase value. When it comes to rarity and collector demand, condition plays a massive role. Most 1964 D nickels are common, especially in circulated or dirty condition. However, collectors are always searching for coins with strong strikes, clear details, or rare minting errors. Full steps nickels, where the steps of Monticello are clearly defined, are especially desirable. Even a dirty coin can be valuable if it has full steps hidden beneath grime or shows unusual characteristics like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or planchet errors. Because millions of these nickels were heavily used, high-quality survivors are far scarcer than the original mintage numbers suggest. In today's auction market, the value of a 1964 D Jefferson nickel varies widely. In heavily circulated or dirty condition, most examples are worth face value to around $267,000, mainly for collectors filling album slots. However, if the coin has better than average detail, or an attractive strike beneath the dirt, values can rise to $385,000. Coins with strong full steps can sell for $465,000, or more, depending on grading. Rare air varieties from 1964 D have sold for $1 million, even when the coin appears worn or dirty at first glance. This is why every nickel from this year deserves a closer look. For collectors, the biggest tip is simple: never judge a coin only by its surface dirt. Many valuable nickels have been discovered under years of grime. Avoid harsh cleaning, as improper cleaning can permanently damage the coin and reduce its value. Instead, focus on learning how to spot key details like full steps, doubling, or unusual strike patterns. Using a magnifying glass and comparing your coin to verified examples can make a huge difference. Storing your coins properly and considering professional grading for promising finds can also unlock their true market potential. The 1964 D Monticello Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how an everyday coin can hide surprising value. While most dirty examples remain common, a small number stand out due to condition, strike quality, or rare errors. These coins remind us that valuable treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Next up, the United States Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel dated 1960 with the D Mint mark, especially examples found in circulated condition. At first glance, this looks like an ordinary pocket change coin, but when you understand the varieties, history, and collector demand behind it, you'll realize why certain 1960 D Jefferson nickels are considered among the most valuable from this era. Stay with me, because some of these nickels can be worth far more than 5 cents in today's active collector market. To really appreciate the 1960 D Jefferson nickel, we need to go back in time. The Jefferson nickel series was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it honored Thomas Jefferson, one of the most important figures in American history and the third president of the United States. By 1960, the Monticello design had already been in use for more than 2 decades. These coins were struck during a period of economic growth in the United States, when coins were produced in massive numbers to support everyday commerce. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark on the reverse, played a major role in meeting this demand. Millions of 1960 D nickels entered circulation, and for decades they were simply used, spent, and forgotten. However, time has a way of turning ordinary coins into historical artifacts, and today collectors look back at these issues with a much sharper eye. The design of the 1960 D Jefferson nickel is classic and instantly recognizable. On the obverse, you'll find a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by sculptor Felix Schlag. The details of Jefferson's hair, his sharp profile, and the clean lettering of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" give the coin a dignified and timeless appearance. The date 1960 sits clearly on the obverse, and even in circulated condition, many examples still show strong design elements. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home, takes center stage. The building steps, columns, and dome are framed by the inscriptions "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and 5 cents, with the small but important D mint mark appearing to the right of Monticello. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel alloy, giving it that familiar silvery appearance and solid feel in the hand. What makes the 1960 D Jefferson nickel especially interesting is that collectors don't just look at the date and mint mark. They look for standout features, strike quality, and specific varieties. During this period, some nickels were struck with weaker details, while others came off the dies with sharper steps on Monticello and stronger lettering. Even among circulated coins, examples with clearer steps, balanced wear, and attractive surfaces tend to stand out. Certain 1960 nickels are also known for subtle die variations and strike differences that experienced collectors actively hunt for. When people talk about the top 5 most valuable 1960 D Jefferson nickels, they are often referring to the best examples within circulated grades, coins with above-average eye appeal, or pieces showing desirable characteristics that set them apart from the millions of ordinary nickels. Rarity plays a huge role in collector demand, and this is where condition becomes everything. While the 1960 D Jefferson nickel is rare in terms of total mintage, finding one in pleasing circulated condition with minimal damage, no major scratches, and even wear is far more difficult than most people realize. Many nickels from this era were heavily used, dropped on hard surfaces, or stored improperly. As a result, nicely circulated examples with readable details and natural toning are becoming increasingly desirable. Collectors often seek coins that tell a story through their wear, while still retaining enough detail to showcase the original design. This balance between history and preservation drives demand and separates common nickels from collectible ones. Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know: current market value in dollars. In average circulated condition, a typical 1960 D Jefferson nickel might only be worth slightly above face value. However, coins with stronger details, better eye appeal, or minor varieties can sell for several $1 million each. Higher-end circulated examples can bring prices in the range of $1.7 million, especially when demand is strong. Some exceptional pieces, even with light circulation, have sold for much more when collectors compete for quality. While these coins won't usually reach the extreme prices of rare-era nickels or early key dates, they still represent a solid collectible with steady interest in today's market. Prices can fluctuate depending on condition, overall nickel market trends, and collector enthusiasm, making this an exciting coin to watch. For collectors interested in the 1960 D Jefferson nickel, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. Always examine the coin closely under good lighting and, if possible, with a magnifying glass. Look for clear lettering, defined details on Jefferson's portrait, and as much structure on Monticello as possible. Avoid coins with heavy corrosion, deep scratches, or unnatural shine from harsh cleaning, as these issues can significantly reduce value. Storage also matters. Even circulated coins should be kept in protective holders to prevent further wear. Building a small collection focused on one date and mint mark, like the 1960 D, can be a rewarding way to learn more about grading, varieties, and market trends without a huge investment. The 1960 D Monticello Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how everyday coins can transform into meaningful collectibles. What once passed through countless hands as simple pocket change is now a window into American history and minting craftsmanship. While every 1960 D nickel is worth big money, the top examples in circulated condition continue to attract collectors and command respectable dollar values. Whether you're a beginner just starting your coin collecting journey or an experienced numismatist searching for hidden gems. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and historic US coins you might find in your collection, or even in pocket change, the 1940 Jefferson nickel, Monticello 5 cents, specifically the version without a mint mark, and we're going to talk about its value today, why collectors chase it, and what it could mean in the current market. If you've ever wondered whether a coin in your hand could be worth big dollars, stay tuned because today's topic is big, rare, and potentially very valuable. In 1938, the United States Mint introduced a new 5-cent coin to replace the long-running Buffalo nickel, and it was named the Jefferson nickel, honoring the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson. This series was created after a competition that invited artists to design an updated nickel, a design that would feature Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his beloved home, Monticello, on the reverse. Felix Schlag, a German-born American sculptor, won the competition, and his design was first struck in 1938 and continued for years with very little change. By 1940, the design Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the back was firmly established and circulating across the nation. The 1940 nickels without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and that's why you won't see any tiny letter on the coin. Back then, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark on nickels, so these coins earn their identity just by their date and absence of a mark. Let's talk about the features that make this coin so iconic. On the obverse, you're greeted by a left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson, his detailed hair and period attire framing his face. Around him you'll see the motto "In God We Trust," the word liberty, and the year 1940, all deeply rooted in American culture and history. Flip the coin over and there's Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, the architectural inspiration behind this nickel's reverse design. You'll see the Latin phrase "E pluribus unum" above the building, and below, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. These details help authenticate the coin and connect each piece with over 80 years of American history. One unique quality that serious collectors look for is the detail in the steps leading up to Monticello. Nickels with deep, complete steps are highly prized, because they indicate a well-struck, more original coin, and that leads us right into rarity and collector demand. You might be asking, is a 1940 nickel without a mint mark rare? The short answer is yes and no. Technically, these coins are not among the rarest because the Philadelphia Mint produced over 176 million of them in 1940, a large number compared to other coins. But here's where it gets interesting. While many of them circulated for decades and wear down, well-preserved examples in good condition are now much harder to find. In circulated condition, meaning it's been used and shows where most 1940 no-mint mark nickels might sell for just a bit above face value, sometimes less than $1. But when you get into higher condition grades where details like Jefferson's hair and Monticello's steps are still strong, the collector world starts to take notice. Coins that show full steps or are even lightly circulated with nice surfaces can command multiple dollar premiums over their face value. So, what is the current market value of a 1940 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel? In everyday circulated condition, typical prices today might range from about 30 cents to a few dollars, depending on how worn the coin is. Many common circulated examples are worth notably more than their face value simply because they're old and collectible. But here's where it gets exciting: special pieces can go for much higher values. Collector-grade specimens with strong detail, highly preserved surfaces, or certified grades by reputable grading companies have been known to sell for $385,000, and in rare cases tied to auction, full steps, sometimes even over $1 million in premium grading levels. Even though that doesn't always happen with circulated coins, examples with very strong detail or interesting features repeatedly bring attention on auction floors, and that drives up demand among serious collectors. So if you find one of these in an old coin roll or your pocket change, you might be sitting on more than 5 cents, especially if it's in sharp detail. But before you get too excited, let's talk collector tips on how to evaluate and protect your finds. First, condition is everything. The tiniest marks, scratches, or worn details can make a big difference in value. That's why collectors use professional grading services, because there's a huge jump in value between pretty decent and professionally certified high grade. Second, always compare your coin to trusted references. Look at pictures online and compare details carefully instead of relying on price listings from general marketplaces, which can be misleading. Third, store and protect your coins properly. Keep them in flips, holders, or albums, and avoid touching them with bare hands, because the oils on your skin can damage the surface over time. And finally, if you're serious, talk to professional coin dealers or get your coins graded. That can make a huge difference in getting accurate value estimates. So there you have it, the fascinating story of the 1940 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, its history, its unique features, how collectors see it today, and its worth in today's dollar market. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned collector, this coin is a beautiful slice of American numismatic history and definitely worth checking out in your own collection. Next up, the 1946 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel, specifically the one minted at San Francisco with the S mint mark. While nickels may seem ordinary in everyday circulation, certain issues like this one carry remarkable historical significance and can fetch impressive values at auction. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin represents a fascinating blend of artistry, history, and rarity that makes it a must-see for anyone serious about numismatics. We'll explore its history, unique features, collector demand, and current market value, along with tips to help you make the most of your own coin hunting adventures. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel and paying homage to Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse side of the coin features Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate, while the obverse displays a dignified portrait of Jefferson himself. By 1946, the United States had just emerged from World War II, and the coinage reflected the country's transition back to peace. The San Francisco Mint, identified by the S mint mark, produced a limited quantity of these nickels compared to the Philadelphia Mint, making the 1946 S Jefferson nickel a particularly desirable piece for collectors today. The 1946 S Jefferson nickel retains all the classic design elements of the series. On the obverse, Jefferson's left-facing portrait is finely detailed, with careful attention to his hair, jawline, and expression, a subtle but striking portrayal that has become iconic in American coinage. The inscriptions include the motto, "In God We Trust," the year, 1946, and of course, the mint mark, S, located just below Jefferson's bust. Turning the coin over, Monticello stands proudly with precise architectural detailing, accompanied by the inscriptions, "E pluribus unum, United States of America," and 5 cents. Coins from this period often show beautiful toning and a smooth, metallic luster when preserved in very fine condition, which makes them visually appealing in addition to historically significant. The 1946 S Jefferson nickel is highly sought after among collectors, particularly in very fine condition. While millions of nickels were minted at the San Francisco Mint, surviving specimens in above-average quality are much rarer due to circulation wear over the decades. Coins graded as very fine exhibit moderate wear on the high points of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, but retain most of the original design detail, making them highly desirable for collectors who want a coin that balances affordability with visual appeal. The combination of age, limited mint production, and condition scarcity drives strong collector interest in this coin, often elevating it to the top of many Jefferson nickel wish lists. In today's numismatic market, a 1946 S Jefferson nickel in very fine condition can command a surprisingly substantial price. Depending on grading specifics and collector demand, these coins typically sell in the range of $1.8 million, though coins with exceptional eye appeal or certified by professional grading services may fetch even higher values at auctions. Coins that display attractive toning, minimal marks, and sharp detail can see their market value climb significantly, making them a smart investment for collectors looking to grow their portfolios with historically significant yet accessible coins. For collectors aiming to acquire a 1946 S Jefferson nickel, it's important to focus on condition, provenance, and authenticity. Always look for coins with minimal wear and clear details on both Jefferson's portrait and Monticello. If possible, buy coins that have been professionally graded, as this provides an independent verification of condition and can significantly enhance resale value. Additionally, consider monitoring online auctions, coin shows, and reputable coin dealers to find the best deals. Patience and research are key. Sometimes the rarest and most valuable pieces aren't the ones that appear first, but those that collectors discover through careful hunting and attention to detail. The 1946 S Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel is far more than just a small coin. It's a tangible piece of American history that continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world. Its historical context, elegant design, and rarity in very fine condition make it a true gem in any numismatic collection. Whether you're a beginner looking to expand your collection or a seasoned enthusiast seeking a prized piece, this coin embodies the timeless appeal of Jefferson nickels and reminds us that even the smallest denominations can hold incredible value. So, next time you're sorting through coins, remember treasures can come in the smallest packages, and the 1946 S Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of that truth. If you enjoy videos like this and want to learn more about hidden value in everyday coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Happy collecting, and I'll see you in the next video.